Welcome to lesson 95. In this lesson, we're going to look at histograms. It's another visual way to represent chunks of data, like bucketing them out into different sections. So we're not looking at every individual piece of data. All right, so here's our look forwards for today. We're going to tally the amount of each data point into a given interval, and we're going to construct a frequency histogram by labeling the intervals on the x-axis on the bottom and the frequency of numbers on the y-axis. And we're going to use the bars to represent the frequency. So those are the things we're going to look for in a correct histogram. It's definitely going to look like a bar graph, but the bars are going to be touching. So let's look at this example. The height and feet of former New York Knicks basketball players are listed below. Using the heights given, complete the frequency table. Okay, so this is a ton of data, and what we're going to do is we're going to bucket them into here. We're going to actually start by tallying out how many you see having 6.0 to 6.2, and then I'm going to look for everything that's 6.2, 6.3, and on and on. So I'm just going to show you the first two, and then I'm going to hit pause to kind of show you what it looks like in the end. So in the beginning, I'm just scanning anything that's that hits that first interval. So anything with 6.0 or a 6.1. Do we have any others? And what's frustrating doing this is that my eye is just looking because there's just so many numbers. And so it's not always the most fun to do. But you'll probably see some people will tally. I like to just write the number, whichever one works for you. All right, and then we just do the next set. And again, I'm just going to do the first three for you, and then I'll fast forward to the end. Now I'm just looking for a 2 or a 3. I get just frustrated by the slowness of this. And let me just double check that I didn't miss anything. I just realized I did miss one. For the other one, for this one here. So let's add that in. 2, 3, so for 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so then this is another place where it's forcing me to slow down. I'm not always comfortable doing that, but I will say it's important for my accuracy that I slow down. Because when I rush, I might miss a number that I need. So it's not always the most comfortable, but I'm doing it. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Want to draw the tallies, you can. Okay, so I'm gonna just fast forward to the next set so you can actually just see all of it. Okay, there you go. There's my frequency table. I've gone through all the numbers. I have them all here, tallied them all out. I've figured out all the frequency parts. I have the numbers. Tedious, but it's okay. I actually feel the tension in my back doing this because it took so long, but that's okay. We'll get over it. So now how am I going to use this? I'm going to take these numbers, which I've rewritten here, and I'm going to create my histogram. So to start off, I need to figure out my groupings, and I'm looking here and I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups. So I'm going to make the 6 groups here on the bottom. So 1 group, 2 group, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups. It's not going to fit, so I'm going to have to go by 2s. So I'm going to make this little thing here, which means I'm going to skip over, and it's going to go from 6. This little part over here is 6.0 to 6.1. And then my next little range here, from here to here, is 6.2, 6.3. Here to here, 6.4 to 6.5. Next part is 6.6 to 6.7, 6.8 to 6.9, and 7.0 to 7.1. Yeah, in hindsight, I would have reversed this and used this as my long side, but that's okay. I'll just deal with it for now. So on the bottom part, this is pretty much my heights, and these are my intervals for the height. And on the other side, this is my frequency, my how many times. So my first bucket, it has only 3. So to make it a little larger, I'm going to just skip count. 1, 2, 3, just because I want them. Do I have enough if I do that? Let's make sure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oh, I do have enough. Awesome. All right, so I'm going to skip it that way. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I like to give it a title, and these are heights of Knicks players. Just to have it in there. All right, and let's start with the first one. The first one is going to go up to 3. So I'm literally just making my first box, and it just goes up to 3. That's my first interval. My second interval is going all the way up to 10. My third interval is just to 2. Notice how again they touch. I don't have anything in that next interval, so I'm just gonna go to the next one, and it also goes to 2. And my last one is gonna go up to 3. All right, and there's my histogram. I'm gonna go a little further and just color it in, just because I like it. But that's it, Math Marbles, that's it. All you had to do is you're setting up your groupings and you're counting how many are in each group. That's it. You're taking your data, all this data, and you're putting it into different buckets. And you're figuring out how many is in each bucket, and then you're graphing them out. We use this little symbol to know that even though there's a 0 here, I'm skipping. This is telling me I'm doing a skip over to 6.0. And notice how I'm writing on the bottom what my intervals are, so you can see what each of my intervals represents. And besides that, the only other things I have here are labels, just because labels are important in anything we do in mathematics. So I'm going to stop talking because I've talked a lot. Hit pause and jot this down into your notes. And that's it for today's lesson. There's no other guided practice. This one just takes up a lot of time, so I didn't want to just fill the video with another model. But take your time just practicing. Again, the biggest hot spots are when you're grouping the data into the different buckets. You might miss one, so just take your time and slow yourself down to get that right. And just make sure you're being really careful and using your criteria for success when you're drawing your histogram so that it is accurate. That's it for today. I'll see you in the next one. Be well.